lose your derby, but move on to the Rangers game.
Yeah. And just one look at you tells me that this is hard going tonight. This is tough.
Yeah, I think the first 5-10 minutes I thought this is going to be okay, and then once you get into the second half of the first game, you realise how warm it is, how sweaty it is. But I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. It's great to be out there.
From the Edinburgh Derby to Old Firm time at Scottish Masters 2023. Rangers were hugely frustrated at that late Hibs equaliser. You've heard exactly what they thought about it, and they will look to sort things out here against their big rivals, who opened up with that 2-1 win against Hearts, with Ryan scoring for the Tynecastle team, but Chris Common's double proving decisive for Celtic.
Yeah, he's not lost his touch, has he, when he's in and around the box scoring goals, Chris. But yeah, it'll be a good game, this one, I think. Rangers obviously need the points.
He's not big on running around these days, Chris, but he can finish.
He wasn't overly bothered running about when he was playing either, but he could finish.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And Joe Ledley was complaining about something there. Free kick quickly taken. Looking to work a 1-2 with Commons. A neat spin. And not a bad strike either from the Celtic captain. Celtic in front, and it's Joe Ledley with just a minute gone.
I think the Rangers boys will maybe be a wee bit disappointed at the goalkeeper there, thinking he was going to put it in the left-hand corner. Yeah, he should probably save that.
He dropped the shoulder, Joe Ledley, and Chris Boyd was history.
Yeah.
Blasted in for the opening goal. Here's a chance for the equaliser, and it's Chris Boyd.
I think that just sums it up perfectly that Boyd, he doesn't defend, but he scores goals.
Yeah, the message is, there's where I do my best work. Up at the other end, he might have switched off as Celtic went in front, but there's the equaliser, and he's just trundled it in. He's scored in off the post, all square in the Old Firm match. And here goes Lee McCulloch, powering his way past Joe Ledley. Graham Dorrans, Alan Hutton. So 2 goals already with little more than 2 minutes gone, and that was almost goal number 3. Deflected the Pedro Mendes strike, and Doris de Vries wasn't stopping that if it was on target, and he ain't stopping that either. And it's Alan Hutton. 2.5 minutes gone. 2-1 Rangers.
A great finish as well for Alan. Curling it right in the bottom corner. Rangers back in the ascendancy.
Number 2, Alan Hutton.
Wasn't really a prolific goal scorer with Rangers or with Tottenham or Villa, but he's finished that really well, Alan Hutton. Mark Wilson for Celtic. Hutton intercepting and on the drive, and he works the boards well. Trod on the ball in the end, but he gets his pass away to Kenny Miller. Dorrans. Cut out by Kelvin Wilson. Gary Hooper! Bringing back happy memories for these Celtic supporters, because he did that regularly when he was a Celtic player, and he hasn't lost the touch.
No, Hoops is the same as Boyd. I think you get half a chance and you know it's going to be a goal. Just shows you never lose that touch.
Well, blinking, you're going to miss a goal in this game. 4 already, 2 each. Here goes Mark Wilson. Into nosebleed land for him. Fended away by Hutton.
Is that a cross or a shot?
Depends who you're listening to, I think. Here's Wilson again. Hooper. Simon Donnelly on the pitch. Even the co-commentary duties tired him out. Kelvin Wilson keeps it well before he's bundled over by Dorrans. Play goes on. Let's hear from the Rangers gaffer, Barry Ferguson, with Emma.
Well, Barry, some game. Yes, what are your interpretations of the Rangers play?
Well, we went 2-1 up and then we were slack at the back, but listen, we were in control of it, but Celtic have come back into it. We just need to be careful at the back. Oh, good save there.
Boydie doing, what Boydie does, I mean, that's difficult with the carpet, isn't it?
Sorry, I didn't hear you there.
Just saying Boydie doing what Boydie does and getting the goal, and then Alan puts you in a great position, but it's difficult out there, isn't it, with the play?
Yeah, the surface is not the best, let's be honest, and it's really hot, so listen, the guys are doing as best as they can, but listen, Boydie does what Boydie does, and that's put the ball in the back of the net.
Still plenty of time left in this one. Thanks, Barry. Rob.
We'll still win it.
Still win it, according to Barry. Back to you, Rob.
Thanks, Emma. So 2 goals each, 5.5 minutes in. Doris de Vries looking to pick out Mark Burchell, but it's the Scottish Cafu, as he used to be known, in the way. Alan Hutton. Kenny Miller yet to get off the mark. Mark Wilson back to Doris de Vries. Simon Donnelly steering a pass towards Mark Burchell. Here he is again, good touch. Joe Ledley will roll it for Wilson, and the route to goal blocked off by Graham Smith, trying to squeeze that in from an angle. Kenny Miller will not be happy till he's hit the back of the net. Alan Hutton. Pedro Mendes, every time the ball is at his feet, you just get that little tingle of excitement around the place. Here's Kenny Miller. Left by Lee McCullough. But it's now Joe Ledley driving forward for Celtic. Back from Burchell. That was a stretch for Lee McCullough to cut that out. There's got to be one player that stays in the opposition half, and sometimes that's easier said than done. Over the top it goes from Joe Ledley. Some tired-looking players out there, Ryan.
Yeah, it's getting a bit weary. I think, as I said, I think the first couple of games, or the first game especially, you think, no, this is okay. And then when it hits you like a bus. I mean, I've not played for a while, so it does take its toll.
A little bit of drama at the end of the first half for Doris de Vries, but he got away with it. And it is 2 goals each. Halfway through between Rangers and Celtic. Joe Ledley, Chris Boyd, Alan Hutton, and finally Gary Hooper. And it was a lively spell in this game when the goals were flying in. Firstly, Joe Ledley spinning away from Chris Boyd to blast it past Graham Smith. And then the equaliser. Chris Boyd doing what Chris Boyd does, Ryan.
Just the touch and then the slowest finish you've ever seen. But he knows straight away when he touches that it's going to get in the back of the goal. It's just vintage Boydie.
Alan Hutton scoring. And finally, Hooper.
Same again from Gary. You just know what Gary's like as well. Just finding the corners every time.
So here we go in the second half. Who is going to grab the bragging rights here of these two? It's a good hit from Burchell. Simon Donnelly. Joe Ledley with the flick. It was a tired-looking pass, and Alan Hutton intercepts. And he looks full of running tonight, despite celebrating Scotland's win last night. One of his fairly regular media spots.
That carpet's causing nightmares, isn't it?
Do you know a good carpet fitter?
It's like the carpet in my grandpa's house, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an added hazard that when the carpet comes up.
The carpet comes up and the referee gets blamed.
Kelvin Wilson, Gary Hooper. The step over, and Mark Birchall has it, and now it's Wilson. Great goalkeeping, Graham Smith. Looked odds on there for 3-2 Celtic. Ledley. Gary Hooper looks to get away from Dorrans, and he does, and he scores brilliantly.
Again, the amount of times we've seen Gary do that over the course of his Celtic career, when he drops his shoulder, and you can try and hard as you can to try and get back to him, but you just can't get near him, and then again, just clinical finish.
Hooper back in the hoops and doing what he does, doing what he did so often when he was a Celtic player. He was such a good goal scorer, and he hasn't lost it, clearly. 2 goals for him on the night, and that squeezes Celtic in front. Pedro Mendes back to Graham Dorrans, and that was close.
Took a little deflection there, I think.
Yeah. He was disappointed, Graham Dorrans, about this, because he just couldn't quite get close enough to Gary Hooper. He got all the room he needed, which wasn't very much, to squeeze in the shot.
That's what he does, half a yard. That's what good goal scorers do, sorry. It's the same with Boydie as well. You get half a yard and they're just so deadly.
It's great to see good goal scorers at work, and here he goes again. He's on a hat-trick now, Hooper, and you wouldn't bet against him. That long-range pass from Hutton going astray, but Kelvin Wilson couldn't keep it. It's still alive here for Pedro Mendes. De Vries saving at the near post. Chris Boyd beaten by the carpet. And this could work out very nicely for Celtic. It's Hooper, and he's not far away from the hat-trick. Working the 1-2 with Commons. Brief stoppage for carpet repair.
Oh, here we go. Get the Gorilla Glue out.
Ah, there we go. A little bit of that sticky stuff.
That should do the trick.
Oh, that'll sort it. Super glue. Right, sir, you shouldn't have any more problems with that.
We'll see. You've got to love football, haven't you? The guys come on to try and fix the carpet and they're getting booed.
So it's a Gary Hooper double, which has Celtic pointing in the right direction, but there's plenty of football to be played in game number 4. Let's hear from Joe Ledley, Emma.
Thank you, Rob. Well, Joe, the scoreline makes pleasant reading from a Celtic perspective, but how tough is it out there?
Yeah, it's very tough. You know, you can see the conditions and how hot it is in the arena. We started on the front foot. We really gave it to Rangers. Then we just tried to be a little bit overconfident, played in silly areas where we just could have just give it easy. And then we went down, but it's good to be back in front. You know, we deserve it. Playing some great football. I think defensively you've been solid, and also attacking-wise with Hoops and Chris Commons and Donnelly as well. So it's an entertaining game. We just need to see it out now. I think it's the last 4 minutes.
And Gary Hooper, I mean, he keeps himself in good shape, doesn't he? You can tell he's still sharp.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm so surprised he still hasn't got a club. You his goal scoring record speaks for himself. He's brilliant at holding the ball up and bringing players in play, and also he's a great finisher. It's great to have him here today.
And the fact is, if you can hold on to the scoreline, it puts you in a great position, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think if we win this, that'll be us through. We're playing some good football, a little sloppy here and there. We just need to tidy up and see this game out. It's important not to lose, that's for sure.
Thank you very much. You all the best. Thank you. Back to you, Rob.
Interesting to hear that Gary Hooper doesn't have a club, because last I heard he was playing in the Emirates, I think, with Gulf United. But clearly he still knows the route to goal. And Joe Ledley, a bit of a legend himself, 77 Welsh caps and 3 titles with Celtic on the trot. Big player for Celtic, and Alan Hutton's been a big player for Rangers. Tonight a scorer in this game, but he seems full of energy as well, getting up and down the pitch to great effect. Rangers need to come back at Celtic here, 3-2 down. 4 minutes to go. Bit of Pedro Mendes magic is what Rangers are hoping for here.
I think Celtic are quite just happy to have that kind of block in front of goal, aren't they?
It's Mendes and always on the up. Well, he passed one in earlier. Beautifully finished off that time. Not threatening Doris de Vries. Straight at Hutton. Won by Burchell. Chris Commons holding off the challenge of Kenny Miller. Ledley, Wilson. Kelvin Wilson and Mark Wilson, the furthest back players for Celtic in front of de Vries. They don't have to chase it, Celtic. Back from Burchell to Mark Wilson. Just getting Rangers chasing the ball here. And Commons tried to chip Smith. Nice touch, Chris Boyd. Can Rangers get this levelled up? It's Dorrans. And it's Kenny Miller. Tried to steer it in. It's good handling from de Vries, because Boyd was waiting for it to pop out.
Boyd, he just sniffing around a bit there as he usually does, but good hands.
Well done, Pedro Mendes, at full stretch. Miller to Boyd. Chris Boyd sees his shot blocked. Mark Burchell for Chris Commons. Good save, Graham Smith. That's a crucial save from him, you feel. Rangers don't want to go 2 goals behind. Celtic know another goal at this point could be decisive for them. The Wilsons toying with Rangers at the moment.
Celtic just quite happy to keep it, aren't they? No need to rush it. A minute 15 left in the clock.
It's getting towards countdown time. And Celtic still have the 3-2 lead. Burchell for Chris Commons. He's given it away, Chris Commons. And Chris Boyd going for the outrageous lob.
And that was probably the loudest roar of the night. Won't affect Boydie one bit either.
Not too much sympathy flooding his way from the Celtic supporters. Joe Ledley trying to put some icing on the cake late on, but Celtic are almost there in any case. We're inside the last 15 seconds.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Rangers need something to happen instantly, and it's not going to happen for them. Just listen to that noise from the Celtic supporters as they greet a famous Old Firm win. Gary Hooper, the headliner, with 2 of the goals. The goal that made it 2-2 and the goal that has ended up winning this for Celtic. Were they worth it, Ryan?